Uhuru. Uhuru, and welcome to Black Power Blueprint Live.
Yes.
Welcome to our weekly web event, and this is a weekly event to discuss the most important issues of our times. We are here in the studio this week of Black Power 96.3, that's WBPU LP in St. Petersburg. It's a beautiful, beautiful station here at the Uhuru House in St. Petersburg, Florida. And we want to send out a salute to Chara Masimba and to Kitty Riley and so many others from the Uhuru House in St. Louis. Last week, giving us a history of African people in St. Louis was just fantastic, really was. So we are here to let you know about the Black Power Blueprint Project in St. Louis, and we are raising resources and reparations tonight as part of the ongoing funding of the Black Power Blueprint tonight. My name is Jamie Simpson, and I am a long-time member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And that is an organization of white people or European people, and we work under the leadership of the Movement for African Liberation and African Self-Determination for African people here and around the world, and for reparations to African people, white reparations for colonialism, slavery, genocide, and that's to African people here and around the world as well. So that is led by the African People's Socialist Party. And Chairman Omali Yeshitela is the chair of the African People's Socialist Party. We want to give a big salute to Chairman Omali Yeshitela tonight. Without his genius, without his leadership, we would not be here in this formation as we are.
That's right.
And I also want to give a big shout out to Deputy Chair Ona Zene Yeshitela of the African People's Socialist Party. Really working to build the Black Power Blueprint there in St. Louis, and the African People's Education and Defense Fund, just an incredibly dynamic leader in this movement, and we're grateful for this. Tonight we have the honor of having with us in the studio Diakiesse Lungisani, former candidate for St. Petersburg City Council, District 6. She is Director of Agitprop for the African People's Socialist Party, and one of the hosts of Good Morning Africa, Uhuru Diakiesse. And to my immediate left here, we have Diakiesse Lungisani, and he is the station manager for Black Power 96.3 WBPU LP here in St. Petersburg. And Uhuru, and welcome, Comrade Diakiesse. And Uhuru. All right, and also I should mention you're going to be hearing shortly also from people who are programmers on this station, hosts like DJ Heavy. You hear in the background.
DJ Heavy.
All right, DJ Heavy, Uhuru, and DJ Ikwan is here in the house as well.
All right.
Thank you so much to everyone who's joining us online, and also with me, I would be remiss without mentioning Chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee, Uhuru, Chairwoman Penny Hess.
And, of course, we have with us Jackson Hollingsworth. So we have a great crew here tonight. Jackson, by the way, is a stage manager for Black Power Blueprint Live. So it's great to have you on, Jackson. And I'm just really honored to be here. I want to salute Diakiesse, Director of Agitprop, Diakiesse Lungisani, Ikwan and DJ Heavy, and of course you, Jamie. And it's fantastic to be here. I want to salute, of course, Chairman Omali Yeshitela and Deputy Chair Ona Zene Yeshitela. I'm very excited to have this program tonight. It's really, really beautiful to be here in this incredible studio with all the great shows, and we're going to hear a lot about this tonight. I'm very excited, but I want to say first of all that I represent I'm the chair of the African People's Solidarity Committee, which is the organization of white people that works under the leadership of Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the African People's Socialist Party. Our work is to go into the white community to organize other white people just like ourselves, to the stance of reparations to African people, returning the stolen wealth, because we know that we have wealth based on the enslavement of African people. Their stolen land, their stolen resources for 600 years. This is the only thing that has given white people this access to social wealth and the ability to take for granted that we would have a job, a house, our children would go to Europe, and all the things that even white working people take for granted in this country based on this fact. So we stand for reparations to African people, and we have the honor of working under Chairman Omali Yeshitela and under Deputy Chair Onizine Yeshitela to build this campaign, the Black Power Blueprint Reparations Campaign, that is raising resources for the Black Power Blueprint. And just to say a little bit about that, we always want to remind people, or if this is the first time that you've been on these programs, the Black Power Blueprint is one of the most dynamic projects on this planet. Somebody referred to it as the most positive thing in the world today. And I really, when you look around at the world and the crisis that is there because of this vicious social system, the only place that you're going to see African workers taking power over their lives and creating a society in which all human beings can live is this Black Power Blueprint and the work of the African People's Socialist Party that's all over the world. And the Black Power Blueprint specifically is right now, although there are many projects that the Uhuru movement has in many, many cities, but there's a particular character of the program in St. Louis, Missouri that came about. This has been almost 4 years since Mike Brown, who was 18 years old, was gunned down by the police, and his body was left to be there as a symbol, you know, as the U.S. government's message to African people not to resist. And they left him there in the sun for 4 hours, and that there was a huge resistance of the African working class in that city, and it sparked it around the country based on that. And 4 years later, in St. Louis, the African People's Socialist Party has built this Black Power Blueprint. The party and Deputy Chair Onizine Yeshitela, who coordinates this project, went out to St. Louis from St. Pete, where the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement is headquartered, and began getting these buildings and these properties that were owned by the city and sold for a low price, but the African working class community couldn't have access to them, but was able to get them. The beautiful Uhuru House in St. Louis was falling down, the roof was off, the brick was coming down, there were holes in the floor, you would have fallen through the floor. And with the support and the reparations from people just like you, who are looking at this tonight, has created almost $50,000 in the last 7 months towards this project, and enabled this kind of, with community support, volunteers, to transform the Uhuru House into a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful building. And just in the last couple of weeks, we were also able to see the demolition of 2 condemned buildings that also belong to the Black Power Blueprint right across the street. And this is where the One Africa, One Nation marketplace is going to be, and the community garden. You know, the community garden here. So it's so beautiful. And this is just the beginning, and we're going to talk about it a lot more, especially next week when Deputy Chair Onizine Yeshitela is going to be on, and we're going to talk about the upcoming projects as well. But I want to be able to, you know, to just let's get going with this program tonight, and it's going to be very dynamic. I'm very excited about it. Uhuru.
Uhuru. It's so exciting to be here, and we do call on people to go to the Black Power Blueprint YouTube channel and subscribe to this channel. Become a part of this. Get notifications. You know, don't miss these webinars. And we are broadcasting tonight on 2 platforms. We're at our Facebook page, and you can also watch this through our YouTube channel.
We're so excited. We have a YouTube channel.
I know, yeah, 2 formats. And you can make that go viral. This could be something that, if anything in the world needs to go viral, it's the most positive vision of the world that exists today, that's been developed by Chairman Omali Yeshitela. And we're seeing it physically manifest itself in St. Louis, just as it's manifested physically right here in St. Petersburg, as we're going to be talking about in detail. And you can be a part of that. Tune in at youtube.com/Black Power Blueprint and subscribe. and we're just going to continue pushing through with this.
That's right. And I just want to say specifically that as of today, we are at $47,612. It's been donated in 7 months towards this project. And awesome. That is 94% of our goal. So we only have about $2,400 more to raise on this particular phase right here. If anybody wants to put that in tonight, I'm serious.
Do it.
Right?
Yeah.
People have social wealth, or a credit card, or access to your 401k. I mean, just go ahead and put that in, $2,400, so we can get up to $50,000. But the least we want to raise tonight is $1,000. We want people to give $1,000, and you can do that by going to youcaring.com/blackpowerblueprint. That's youcaring.com/blackpowerblueprint. And you can also see lots of videos and pictures, and you can see the whole progress of this incredible project there on that website. So,
excellent. So yeah, $1,000 tonight, and we know we can do that because we've done it before. And we also want to again salute so many of you who have generously given towards this project, sometimes repeatedly. It's an amazing feat. Thank you. And if you believe in reparations and self-determination to African people, again, as Chairwoman Penny mentioned, you can go to www.youcaring.com/Black Power Blueprint.
Uhuru. So tonight we're going to talk about this incredible radio station, how it got started, 96.3 FM radio here in St. Petersburg, Florida, although there are other ways that you can hear it. You don't have to be right here in St. Pete, and we'll talk about that too. So we want to start by playing some of the incredible promos. No other station has this. These are so brilliant, so funny, but yet so deep politically. Where else could you get this? And so let's start by hearing a few of what you can hear on Black Power 96.3 FM.
Black Power 96.3 FM and United Black Power 100.1 FM are the only stations putting out the true narrative and real issues that affect our community. We keep it 100.
We say, oh, power to the people and black power to the African community. Uhuru.
Black power is more than just a phrase. It's a call to action. It's a call to self-determination, economic development, and self-reliance. When you listen to Black Power 96.3 FM and United Black Power 100.1 FM, know that's what you're supporting. Right on.
Ain't no good. Arrest the police. Arrest the police.
Where the sounds of resistance can be heard on the airwaves. You are listening to Black Power 96.3 FM, WBPU-LP St. Petersburg, and United Black Power 100.1 FM, WUBP-LP St. Petersburg.
Black Power 96.3 FM, Southside St. Pete's own community radio station, WBPU, Black People United.
It's lit. Nappy hair black.
Oh yes, honey.
Big eyes black.
Oh yes, honey.
Big nose black.
Oh yes, honey.
Big booty black.
Yes.
Black, black, black. Radio that reflects the people. Black Power 96.3 FM and United Black Power 100.1 FM.
Black Power 96 supports the demand for Black community control of the police. Our Black community must have the right to hire, train, and fire police. We should be the people setting police policy in our community. We can develop a transparent and democratic process for the selection and deployment of police. Police should live in our community and be hired because of his or her reputation for service within the community. Part of our mission at Black Power 96 is to defend the human and civil rights of the African community. Police violence is a problem. Black community control of the police is the solution.
All right.
Wow. I mean, those are so great. Where else could you hear something like that on the radio? That is so powerful and so brilliant. And I just want to salute you, both of you, for just the brilliance of this radio show. And Diakiesse, as a station manager, first of all, can you tell us when exactly did Black Power 96.3 launch?
Uhuru. Well,
And welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Before I, give that answer, I just really want to appreciate my leadership, Chairman Omali Yeshatela of the African People's Socialist Party, along with Deputy Chair Onizane Yeshatela as well. Black Power 96.3 FM unofficially launched December 26, 2016. It wasn't until February 18th of 2017 that we officially launched, when we had our block party and, well, it wasn't a block party, it was our launch party and everything. So that's the official date. But unofficially, it was December 26th of 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very well established. Yes. Yes. So I know that if you don't live in St. Pete, you can't hear it directly, but there are, can you tell ways that people can hear this?
You can log on to blackpower96.org and you can stream us from there. And we also have a free app that you can download on your Android or your iPhone as well too. So, yeah.
Search Black Power, it's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah, and it's free. And we own it, not iHeartRadio.
Well, yes. And so, Akile, I mean, the Black Power Blueprint and Black Power 96.3 FM are kind of sister projects, you could say. So how is Black Power 96.3 different? How is it different than anything else that's out there?
Well, first I also have to salute my leadership, Chairman Omali Yeshatela, and Deputy Chair Onizane Yeshatela. And, Black Power 96 is an institution of Black power and self-determination, and that totally fits the vision of the Black Power Blueprint. It's exactly what it is. And the Black Power Blueprint is, solving all of these problems on all these different fronts. We're talking about housing and ending gentrification, building housing, building our own centers, the community centers. We're talking about health disparities. We're building gardens in our own marketplaces. And when we're talking about controlling the narrative for our people and having, a place where our culture can thrive and, having a space where all this talent can be unleashed within the African working class community, Black Power 96 is an institution that makes that happen. And again, it is a part of the whole vision of Black power and self-determination. African working class people coming, engineering our own station, programming our own station, having our own shows. We have Iquan, who is, a host of No Class, and, DJ Heavy Love, who has here's 2 amazing shows. And, just so many other Africans within our community that would have never had this opportunity anywhere else, because white power continuously tells us it steals our genius and uses it for themselves. They take Black art and talent and they extract all of that from our community. They steal it and they exploit it every single day, and they use it against us. And Black Power 96 is our station, owned and controlled by us, for us, and it totally fits the vision of the Black Power Blueprint, and that's what makes it different from anything else. I don't know what other station you can hear Chairman Omali Yeshatela, speak.
Yes.
But this is it. So.
It's so powerful just to be here, just to experience the African working class speaking for itself from its own station. And I noticed we have this slogan, which is Black Power 96, not just explaining the world, but changing it. Could you speak to that slogan, what that means in the community?
Well, I think a lot of it, that slogan, because a lot of people say, good things, they do lip service and all these kinds of things. And what the Black Power Blueprint is always talking about is not just saying these things, not just talking about the conditions of the African community, and not just saying what will be good for the African community, but actually manifesting it right before our very eyes. And BP96 is the exact same way, where, one, we don't just talk about how white power controls all the media and we don't have any platforms, can't get out. We built the institution to make it happen, to make it possible. And it's not just explaining the world, it's bringing people into this process. It's making the radio station embedded within the community. It's giving the people a stake in what happens with this radio station. So it's not just this thing that functions in space or anything like that. People can come here every day of the week, get involved, come to community meetings, and be a part of the solution. And that's what Black Power 96 gives us the ability to do.
Wow.
So,
that is such a beautiful vision. It's so inspiring. And it sounds like it's really bringing in people from the community. We know there's so much talent in the African community. Can you tell us a bit about the programming for Black Power 96? Comrade Diakiesse, you yourself host a morning show. Could you tell us about that?
Along with Director Kile, we are both hosts on Good Morning Africa, along with our comrade Alikia Ngoma. And that show comes on every weekday morning from 6 to 10 a.m. You know, waking up at 5 o'clock, you know, to get here and to be here. But, you know, we definitely don't mind. And, you know, just to piggyback off of the powerful statement made by Director Kile, you know, when we get on Good Morning Africa and we have access to the airwaves, it's not just us having these discussions about, you know, issues or, you know, things that we see going on in the world, though we do lay that out, but we have to speak truth to power. And that means talking about the solutions. How can people get involved, you know, in the work, you know, that's working towards, you know, overturning the colonial contradictions that we see within our community. And, you know, Good Morning Africa is a lively show. So many different segments we have on the show, from celebrity news and gossip. We just implemented a new segment called POD, which stands for Point of Discussion. And so, you know, it's a very dynamic show. You know, we have Iquan, who is a 17-year-old African who leads a show called No Class that comes on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's a discussion about anime and, you know, gaming and things of that nature, and, you know, also speaking to topics that, you know, speak to African teenagers and, you know, stuff like that. And DJ Heavy Love, who has two shows, which is The Love Train and The Southern Soul Express, you know, which highlights I'd say it's a genre of music called Southern Soul, and it's not really mainstream, but within the African community, we love it. And, you know, his show is just great, and he just showcases that music, you know, that a lot of people have a lot of love for. You know, we have Molly Taught Me with the chairman, which is a weekly political study. And I just can't put into words, you know, how powerful that show is, and, you know, just the political education that is given by Chairman. Africa Live with Comrade Timber Shabanda. Let's see, Diasporic Music with Jalali, Norman Richmond.
From Canada.
Yeah, from Canada. And the programming, St. Pete Heat, which focuses on our local talent located right here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And even we have artists come not even from St. Pete that are featured on St. Pete Heat as well. So.
And you better not forget the Monkey Paw.
Oh yes, the Monkey Paw. Yes. And that show comes on every week, well, every day. Shout out to Charles, who is the programmer on that show, Monkey Paw, The Porch, which comes on. The programming is just very reflective, you know, of the interest of us, of African working class people. We discuss our issues, you know, things that you don't normally hear about on the radio station. And yeah, the programming is just, it's A1.
Wow.
So yeah.
How exciting. And I mean, it's amazing. And again, could you tell people again how they could get the app or listen online as well?
All you got to do, pull up your Google Play Store or your Apple App Store, type in Black Power 96. It's the only app that's going to come up. It's free. We own it. You know, you can donate through the app. You can listen through the app, see our pictures, you know, all of that good stuff. So, beautiful.
Great, great. So, just say, can you tell us a little bit, like, what is the response of this community? And I know that you've gotten some great feedback. Can you tell us, you know, both of you or either of you, tell us a little bit about the kind of feedback you get, or, you know, how do you gauge if people are hearing it and that sort of thing?
Well, you know, there are just a lot of people in this city and, you know, everywhere it is that people stream, you know, specifically speaking towards Good Morning Africa, I know that, you know, people are always telling us on the street, like, you know, we listen to your show every day. There's a store that's literally right across the street from here that plays it in the kitchen area. So when they're cooking, we walk in to go get breakfast. They're playing Good Morning Africa, and they're just laughing. And, you know, they say they enjoy the music because Comrade Alikia actually just gives us this amazing set of music on Mondays or we listen to African music from all around the world. And, you know, so they love the music selection, you know, the different topics we discuss. And people just really appreciate the station, you know, are just appreciative of what's being discussed about the community issues, and being able to hear, you know, Black Power on the airwaves. Like, I didn't know we could talk about that. And so, I mean, that's a lot of the feedback that we get. I know, you know, funny little story. So I have this segment called The Influence on Good Morning Africa. And before that segment existed, I played K-pop, Korean pop music. And people would be like, I don't know, you know, what's going on, what's being played, but, you know, people just loved it. So, yeah, that's in terms of the response. Yeah, it's really, really positive. People love it.
My first, you know, experience being able to gauge, you know, community members listening to the station, I was actually at the post office, which is, again, like literally right up the street. And I was speaking to the clerk behind the desk, and it was this African woman behind me, and she tapped me on my shoulder, and she was like, "You on the radio, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Black Power 96." I said, "Yeah, girl." And so, yeah, but you know, just being out with the comrades, we've had so many of those experiences, you know, and Chairman has come up to me, myself, you know, just speaking to me about how he'd be out in the grocery store, and, you know, people would just come up to him randomly and be like, "Yeah, it's this new station that's playing speeches on the radio and all of this stuff," and I'm just like, yeah, that's awesome. And, you know, so right now, the station, we're waging our Operation Blackout campaign. And so we go out into the community every Friday. We choose a different business to go table at, and, you know, sign people up to become volunteers, put out information about the station. And most recently, we went to Dave's Market, and it was this African sister, you know, who came up to this table, who noticed my voice. And
very distinct.
It was one episode of Good Morning Africa where we was having the point of discussion. And it was just this topic, and she was just telling us, telling Iquana and myself, you know, about how she was listening. She was like, "Oh no, I know she didn't do that," and all of this other type of stuff like that. But yeah, people are really listening, and you know, it's just so many stories that. Okay, I'll just give one more.
Okay.
So, one time. Well, for a while, I would ride past this house, and, you know, they would just be outside, like, blasting music all the time, loud, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the, you know, in the night. And it was just one instance I was walking by, I had my bike, and then I heard the Black Power 96 imaging come on. And it was just mind-blowing.
Oh,
but
wow.
The response from the community has been absolutely great. It has been wonderful.
That is so exciting. That is so exciting. So, you know, I just want to say that this is connected to the Black Power Blueprint and to all of the programs of Black Star Industries and the African People's Education and Defense Fund, and all the commitment of the Uhuru movement of building economic/political projects that are in the hands, that bring power into the hands of the African working class all over the country and all over the world, really. Yes. And this is such a history of that. So, you know, we're just calling on people tonight to contribute to the Black Power Blueprint by going to youcaring.com/Black Power Blueprint. And go ahead, and we need to raise $1,000 tonight. I don't know if we've gotten anybody to thank yet.
Yes.
All right.
You do, all right.
So we want to thank Bobby Wittenberg.
All right. One of our really amazing, long-time, repeat donors. He takes a really powerful stand of reparations to African people, and just really salute you, Comrade Bobby.
100%.
So Bobby Wittenberg paid $100 in reparations.
Yes.
Wow.
All right. We're 10th of the way there is all I'm saying. Yes, go ahead.
10th of the way there.
Says, Uhuru, salute to Chairman Omali and Deputy Chair Ona and the African People's Socialist Party. Salute to the Black Power Blueprint and Black Power 96. All white people owe reparations. Everything we have is built on stolen resources. white solidarity with black power. We are winning. Uhuru.
Uhuru, Bobby. What a statement, you know?
Beautiful.
It's so important to say that. All white people owe reparations.
Yes, it is.
It's not something you're going to hear in another white left organization.
No.
And if you do, it'll be a sign of the times being changed by the African working class organized in this form. Comrade DJ.
Oh, wait, we have a couple more.
Oh, we have a couple more here. Never step over the donors.
We have 2 more, and the next one, just a reminder to everyone, you can give anonymously if you want to do that. And Anonymous paid $25 in reparations and says Uhuru.
Uhuru to Anonymous. All right.
And then Johan Bedingfield paid $5 in reparations. Uhuru. Comrade Johan. And so we have raised 130 and only have 870 to go.
Okay. All right, we can do this. This is amazing. We only have 870 to go tonight.
Yes. Uhuru to material solidarity. So DJ Heavy, you're a programmer in the station here tonight, and you have a great show.
2 shows.
2 shows. From you do one show from 4 to 6 on Tuesdays, just previous to this airing. Can you tell us a bit about your shows on Black Power 96?
Well, the music that I play is called Southern Soul Blues. It originated back in the 60s. It used to call soul music with artists such as James Brown, Johnny Taylor, you know, some of the old school singers from back in the day, you know. And then what happened with the music, what made the change from Southern Soul music was they added the 4 bars of blues to the soul music, which came up with Southern Soul. And that's why you got the blues. The 4 bars of music that you hear in the music is the blues part. So that's what makes it sound a little familiar, but it's different. You know, and it's been catching on like wildfire. You know, it's a really good music. It's a good party blues music, and a lot of the people here love the music. You know, I come up in the '60s, and when the music where people were struggling, you know, with the movement, you know, the racism and everything, and you know, the music really was very helpful because when I was a little boy, just listening to James Brown and some of those artists back then, it was a good feeling. And that same feeling, you know, I try to you know, put it out in the music that I play today. You know, I get a joy of playing this music and being able to give it back to the community because it's those same people that went through some of the things that I went through as a kid coming up. You know, when I'm able to play the same music. So, you know, and
thank you so much. It's really an honor to have you here tonight, DJ Heavy, to speak on behalf of your show. And can you tell us what originally was? How did you find out about Black Power 96 FM, and what made you want to be a part of this?
Well, I was already working for another local radio station, and things were working out well. And I just kept calling. I mean, like weeks and weeks would go by, and I finally got in touch with Mr. Dia, and he said, "Well, come on down," you know. And then came down and gave him a little interview, and he said, "Come back in about a week." And I came back in a week and said, "Man, we'd like to have you come aboard." And I was so excited. I mean, I was so excited. I got on the phone and I just called everybody I could name and just tell them, "Hey, I'm gonna be on Black Power 96," you know, and I just love just what they're doing. I just love being a part. And I tell you, ever since I've been here, they made me feel like family. You know, I just the warmness and the brotherhood and sisterhood is just so wonderful. You know, I just really enjoy it. I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world.
Nor should you. Thank you, DJ. That really was.
Very exciting. So could you tell us exactly when the times of your 2 shows are?
Well, I got a Monday night show called The Love Train where I play the best in slow music, love music from 9 to 12 midnight. And Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 6 on the drive time, I play the Southern Soul music. And you know, if somebody wants to hear some old school, I'll throw some old school in with the Southern Soul to make it really nice, you know. So it's wonderful. I just love whatever comes my way, whatever they give me. I'm willing to be a part of it, you know, because the Uhuru movement and And Black Power 96, man, I just love the whole thing, you know.
Beautiful.
Wow, that is excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here and talking to us. And you know, I know that your show is fantastic. I've heard it several times. It's very beautiful.
You also have the perfect radio voice.
Oh my God.
Yes. Absolutely.
Just, you know, like listening to the demo, you know, that he recorded and sent in, you know, prior to having the show was like, okay, you want to come in today? You want to start? You want to get on the air now?
Yeah, it's very professional sounding,
yes,
and yet very down to earth too. You know,
and that's what we need. We need every show to be professional, and you know, I'm working on being better.
Excellent.
I'm truly working on being better in my craft, you know, and I hope everybody else too, just to make this thing just that much better.
Beautiful.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for being on and coming on and talking to us. And you know, I just want to say before we go on and continue with our interview that, you know, we just want to call and we want to appeal in particular to other white people to contribute to this, to this whole, because by contributing to Black Power Blueprint, you are contributing to programs such as this. And we're going to talk about some of the fundraisers that's specific to this radio show and station that'll be coming up. And we'll talk about that before we go off tonight. But you know, it's really, really critical that the Black Power Blueprint be funded, that have the resources that it needs, that have been stolen from the African community, and to recognize that we live in a system that is built on the enslavement of African people, built on genocide, built on stolen labor, and you know, and how there has to be reparations. It's not enough just to say, I want to end racism. No, we have to end colonialism, because African people clearly live under the thumb of the state power. That who is gunning down these young people, these young African people, just like the young man in Pittsburgh a few days ago. And there's so many other places, because they say every 18 hours another African person is killed by the police in this country. Not to mention 2.5 million people in prison. At least half, if not more, are African people stuffed into prisons for things that white people don't even get arrested for. And we could go way into that and have a whole show onto that. But white people, if they have been involved in drugs, all they have to do is go to the police station and say, help me. And, you know, bleeding hearts, and everybody's helping them. And African people are sent, you know, African young people. There's African children, juveniles in this country who have been sentenced to like 50 years to life, and you know, life without possibility of parole. That's what this country does, because this is based on terror and slaughter and just stealing people's resources, happiness and culture, as has been said. And we have lived, you know, on the pedestal of that. That's everything that we have came from that. And it has to be, you know, it's not enough to be against racism. We have to be against colonialism. And if we are against colonialism, we recognize that African people have a right to their freedom and liberation, to their land, their culture, their history, all the genius. I think, you know, as Akile was talking about, and all the great African singers and musicians that white people like, you know, Mick Jagger, and that's just one of many, have made billions of dollars off of stealing, you know, their talent. And the African artists die in poverty, you know, get nothing. But, you know, these white people become billionaires based on that. And that's why we owe reparations. I saw something the other day that it said that the city of Charleston was where the killing was in
South
the church.
Carolina.
Yeah, in South Carolina. I forgot which state it was, but in South Carolina, where, you know, a white man went into the church and just slaughtered, I think it was it 9 or 10, nine African people who were there and welcomed them in. But that city just made an apology for slavery. And the fact that 40% of all Africans who were forcibly kidnapped and brought into the United States went through the city of Charleston. That's how big that was. And that there were many, many white people who made billions of dollars from that, selling African human beings. And they're still rich today because all that money is compounded. So Charleston gives an apology. But what about reparations?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What about reparations? That's not talked about. And that's what, you know, we're saying. That the only way that there can be true peace, that there can be the rectification on the part of white people in terms of our crimes against African people historically and today, is through reparations and turning back over the stolen resources. So when we see reparations for the Black Power blueprint that is actually bringing African people themselves, building their projects that empower the African working class for politically and economically to have control over their lives, not as charity, not as welfare, nothing like that, not benefiting some corporation or even nonprofit. This benefits the African community itself. This is where reparations has to go to the African Revolution that's actually changing the world, and we want to be part of that. So that's why, you know, we're calling on other white people to go to youcaring.com/Black Power Blueprint right now and put in some resources. And again, we want to thank those who have given today and on so many other weeks where we've had these. But we want to get up to 48,600 tonight. So we have a way to go, and we're going to do this. We are going to do this.
We can do it, and we've done it before with your help, and we know that you are in it for the long run. This is something that $50,000 is an impressive goal for just the first half of a year, but there is so much more, right? We're talking about the transatlantic slave trade as just a piece of the colonial terror that white people have unleashed on African people and the people of the world. African people are owed a lot more than money. And we're seeing right here in this studio a manifestation of where this material solidarity goes. It goes to the institutions that help bring in the community, help bring in the talent that exists in the African community. And that becomes a part of you know, fighting against imperialism, dual and contending power, and independence. And if you want to see a city like that here in St. Petersburg, if you want to see something like that in St. Louis, where the Uhuru movement is building that Uhuru House to such a beautiful facility, and the Uhuru kitchen and garden, other things that we'll be discussing shortly. Please make your donation. Let someone else know that this is going on. Share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues.
And Jamie, I want to say, I just want to bring in one other thing really quickly, because one of the projects, you know, there's the overall project for the Uhuru House, then the demolition. And, you know, it's not cheap to tear down a building. It sounds crazy, but it cost $20,000. And that money was raised through reparations, and that's really, really, really important. But now that land has to be cultivated and planted, and, you know, however it's going to be decorated. And, you know, we call on people, if you have the ability to xeriscape and landscape all this stuff, please, you know, donate that as well.
Yeah, your sweat counts.
But I know one of the projects that Deputy Chair Onizane Shatella told me about that is really powerful is that across the street where those buildings came down is going to be an amazing flagpole and flag of the red, black, and green African flag. And just like the one that's out here, it's going to be 50 feet tall, and the actual flag itself is going to be 15 feet by 25 feet, just like the ones here. How beautiful, how inspiring. That is so beautiful. But I mean, a 50-foot flagpole, that has to be cemented into the, you know, it has to have structures to hold it up. It's going to cost about $8,000 just for that. I want to see that. I want to see that. I want to see that flagpole there as a beacon of the freedom and liberation of African people and the African nation, which is something that is against all oppression of all people and stands as a beacon to all oppressed people to come onto that land. And, you know, I think that this is what the world needs. This is how the world has to be changed. So I want to call on anybody who would like to contribute to that particular project, you can go to apedf.org. You can go to the donate and put in there's like a little comment thing that you can put in and fill out and say that I want to contribute to the flagpole. You can do that. We're still raising $1,000 tonight too at ucaring.com/blackpowerblueprint. But I want to begin. We got to raise this flagpole. And the flag. That's got to be there. That's part of reparations.
Right.
We want to see that. So I just want to say uhuru to that.
Uhuru. I think it's so appropriate. If anyone has ever been to a plenary or a Congress here,
and it's going to be there.
When you see that flag coming to an event here at the Uhuru House, you can really envision the African nation. You know, this is not some fly-by-night organization. This is an organization with 45 plus years of struggle, and that flag is so significant to independence and not compromising in the struggle for independence as one united African nation.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
We have more people. All right.
Lisa Watson, $50 in reparations.
Thank you.
All right. So
Yes, so Lisa says, salute to Black Power 96 Radio, the baddest radio station on the planet.
Yes.
And salute to the Black Power Blueprint, so inspiring. These projects are amazing. Unity through reparations.
Unity through
reparations.
And so we have raised $180 with $820 to go.
All right, we're going to do this.
Right.
We can do this tonight. We're going to raise $820 more. And we want to salute all the comrades who have taken a stand of reparations tonight.
Really, it's made such a difference. And the steadfastness with which people have come through with this material solidarity. I was going to say donation, and they are donations, but it's more than that when it's the Uhuru movement. You know, it's an expression of your solidarity with the future.
It's a way of life. For white people, it's a way of life. It's saying that I stand in solidarity with African people, and I will fight for that. And our job is to go inside the belly of the beast and win other white people to that, to weaken the power of white power every single day and deepen the crisis of imperialism.
Right. It should not be comfortable to be sitting on the pedestal of the oppression of the majority of the people on the planet. And all too often it becomes that, and we forget things like the 100 years of lynching that went on. It's still going on in the form of police murder. Every day. So,
and people can join the Black Power Blueprint project, correct? Join at blackpowerblueprint.org. Is that?
Yes, you can email join@blackpowerblueprint.org. You can also inbox us on the Facebook page of Black Power Blueprint on Facebook. A lot of people connect there, and anyway you can find, you can join this work as well. And wherever you are, there's a job for you. If you're in St. Louis, we'll put you in contact with all of the party members there. If you're a solidarity force, we'll put you in contact with African People's Solidarity Committee. If you're any place in the country or world, there's a place for you in this project.
Yes. Get in where you fit in.
Yes.
So we're here tonight. We're raising $1,000 for the Black Power Blueprint, and we have the honor of some amazing guests here tonight. Among them, Comrade Diakiesse. He is a station manager here at Black Power 96. And tonight we're talking about Black Power 96.3 FM radio with Diakiesse Lungisani and Akile Anayi, talking about not just explaining the world, but changing it. Comrade Dia, we are going to play some of the promos that you've had on the shows momentarily.
Well, actually we
already played them.
We already played them.
You heard them. But while we were playing them, I heard you laughing distinctly at various points. Do you have any comments about the process of making those clips and how
Who writes those?
Yeah.
That's so clever.
Who writes those?
Is that a fun process?
It is it's a fun process, I try to think about what us as African working class people would like to hear, on the radio. And, for so long we've been told that our facial features are ugly, so many things belittling, you know, African people for decades. And, you know, when an African turns on the radio and hears big booty black, big eyes black, big nose black, I know that's, you know, inspiring, you know, the African working class to embrace who they are. And, you know, that's my thought process, you know, when going into writing the different imaging, you know, for the station. And it is fun. It is fun. And I end up laughing most of the time while I'm writing it.
That's
yes,
a good
yeah.
Right.
It's infectious, the enthusiasm. It's brilliant. So
I know, Akile, I wanted to ask you, or I'm sorry, did I interrupt?
no, go ahead.
That I know that, you know, that Black Power 96.3 gets a lot of tickets and things that you give away. And how does that work? What is this a relationship that you have with other businesses or music?
Yeah,
impresarios or whatever they are.
Well, the station does do underwriting with different businesses and things like that. So one of the businesses here is one that you know, constantly gives us, you know, tickets to shows. And Dia could say more about, you know, the shows that we've had tickets to over the, you know, course of the last year. We were able to participate in Tampa Bay's Caribbean Carnival, where we had our booth there, and we had received tickets we were able to give out to the community. We had Maxwell. Oh, yes. Maxwell. Yes. We had Maxwell tickets. That was my favorite one. So it's different when we do underwriting with the different businesses. You know, these are some of the things, the benefits that we can receive. And, you know, these businesses, you know, they pay to underwrite on the station, and then they get shout outs. So, you know, local businesses right here in the city of St. Pete can get featured on the radio station. Even, you know, so much as your mama's hair braiding class. You know what I'm saying? Like, feature it on the radio station. Let people know that your mama got a hair braiding class. Everybody come, get your license, get you know, to braid hair. It's crazy that you got to get a license to braid hair, do something you're good at. But, you know, these are things that we promote on the radio station. So that's how that process works. Yeah.
So what about the relationship with other stations? Is Black Power 96.3 the only African-owned radio station in St. Pete?
In St. Pete, no. You do have WJAM 99.1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is owned by Donald Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's his name. And we have actually this. On MLK Day, we had 99.1 jams here with us when we put on our Freedom Mic MLK Day celebration as well too. So, yeah.
Great.
So, but in terms on like the national scale, in terms of a Black Power radio station owned and controlled by the African working class, that's it.
That's the only one.
That's the only one in the world.
And you know, we in addition to Maxwell, we had Tracy Morgan as well.
Oh yeah, Tracy.
We had Martha Reeves of the Vandellas. We had it's another African sister. I'm sorry, she was a part. Mary Wilson of the Supremes.
Oh right.
Oh wow.
And right now, currently, we have tickets for a Whitney Houston tribute that's going to be on the 14th of next month.
Ooh,
so yeah,
exciting.
And you know, I just wanted to say really quickly, you know, Director Akile mentioned our underwriting program, and the basis of that program is to feature, like she said, you know, the local businesses that are embedded here within the community. And you know, I'm not originally from St. Petersburg, but what I've come to notice, you know, when we put on different events, we want to, you know, get the local African businesses to participate. And you know, my first initial thought was, hey, just go to Google, see if you can find some local Black businesses, and there's literally none listed there.
Wow.
And you know, our underwriting program is able to give exposure to these local, you know, African businesses. And you know, with me being here, you know, a little over a year, I've come to understand, you know, through political education by Amalia Shatella, and just being able to see for myself the economic starvation you know, that has riddled the south side of St. Pete. And, you know, that is due to, you know, some of these businesses not having the adequate exposure, you know, that they need to have. And then not only are they, you know, sponsoring the station, but, you know, they're investing within their business. And, you know, that in turn brings business within the community, and, you know, resources are able to circulate within the community. So, you know, the underwriting portion of Black Power 96 is extremely important.
Right. So. It's really connected to the question of gentrification, something that Diakiese's platform dealt with.
Yeah, and I just wanted to speak to how important that is, because in St. Petersburg, Florida, and just like every other African community throughout the U.S. and around the world, you know, but speaking specifically to St. Pete, you have this administration that is forcing Africans out of this community and locks down the potential for any kind of economic development. And, you know, we had an MLK Day festival because of the fact that Africans couldn't come here and vend without police, you know, occupying our entire community. There was no MLK Day celebration as it usually has been. The city stole it from the Black community, and they put this police ordinance on the people saying you couldn't vend. You could not vend, and Africans in this city make, you know, half of their yearly income on this day alone, and they were not able to do that. So Black Power 96 hosted this event where vendors could be there to, you know, sell to the community so that the Black community could have economic development and self-determination in our own hands. And, you know, it's this city government that wants to make sure that that is not possible at all. And it's Black Power 96 working together with the community, with these businesses that, you know, if the city of St. Pete could have its way, wouldn't exist. They've tried everything they could to demolish them when they built this baseball dome, and they destroyed the 100 Black-owned businesses that were part of the gas plant district, when they built an interstate through 22nd Street that, you know, just depleted those businesses out, and, you know, has just continuously been in the community with the police, making sure that economic development cannot happen. And it's been the Uhuru movement, it's been, you know, the institutions that exist right here, and it's been Black Power 96 to be able to provide these opportunities within the community. And it's going to be the thing that allows for our community to be able to trade, you know, engage in commerce and things like that within our own community. So this underwriting program is so much bigger than just a program or a position in a radio station. It's bringing this community together and building economic development.
That's powerful.
Wow.
That is powerful. And I want to talk more about that. Uhuru. Well, we're going to talk about that more, because we want to talk about Cured and everything that's happening. And but before we do that, we did want to salute Iquan, who has an amazing program called Go Class. And just say Uhuru to Iquan, and really, your show is funny and unique. Could you tell us a little bit about your show? I don't think there's another one like it that I've ever heard. It's very unique and very funny.
I mean, we are pretty special in our case. Okay, so as far as, well, at least the main point of No Class, of course, is speaking on the issues of course, high schools like myself, Africans who go to school here in St. Pete, who basically talk about the experiences that they feel that they experience in school, as far as teachers and administrators and all the sort. Because, you know, especially in our school system, we have a lot of things that happen on like a regular basis. Like we have a lot more police, especially on the South Side schools. We have a lot of more police on our campuses. I can say countless times that there has been some type of incident where the police had to come in and almost stomp a kid out just for talking. I don't know, anything, literally anything. It could be anything. Like, I remember there was a time where a kid, he wasn't even fighting. He was breaking a fight between two other brothers who was something, I don't even know what it was. He was a big dude, heavyset kid, and the police came by, seen him, and then pepper sprayed him, and then tased him, and it was the whole thing. I mean, he ate it. Like, I've never seen someone eat a taser, but still, still, the whole thing didn't have to go that far, or really at all.
Well, it would never happen in a white school.
Right. Never. But not only talk about stuff like that, we talk about personally. We talk about like video games, like Diakiesse said before. We talk about video games, anime of the sort. In fact, actually, we do have a segment that we have every Wednesday for our second hour. We start for like quick 30 minutes called Clashes. We take like little heroes and all this sort, really just characters from any genre. And we take them and just
so
put them against each other, just like this guy versus this guy.
Play it out. Right?
Just play it out. And I go real deep into analysis for that. So there's that. We talk about comic books and all that because I follow a lot into comic books and anime and all that. And actually, even Tuesdays, we started that. We played it all the time before, but now we actually have like a scheduled time for it. But every Tuesday for our first song of the week on Tuesdays, play like a random anime opening or anything of the sort. In fact, I think today we played trying to remember, it's an anime called Full Metal Alchemist, and we played
we have a fan.
Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. We played the opening one, the first one they ever had. And actually, I think the first song we ever played on No Class was actually one that was asked for by Akile, which was yes, it was yes, it was Paper Moon by I don't remember the people who made the song, but it was for Soul Eater. Yeah, one of the really good anime. But it's not just me myself. I'm the host, but there's my man Fawcir who's been there. Actually, he's been there technically longer than me, but he's been there for me. And he's going to college right now because he graduated early, but he's still working with the station all the way up until then. There's him. We have some new people going on the show, like my man Wild Beast, aka Brian. There's him. There's Aoyomi, aka Siege, and then there's one girl, one girl on the show, and that's Avi. Besides that, I mean, we've varied as far as who's been on the show. I remember like there was a time that there was like just 8 of us, and we only have like 4 mics, so we had to. It was I don't know how we did it, but we did it. But even though we had a lot more people come to the show, because even if they can't become an actual co-host, we still like kids from the school to come by and just talk about themselves. There's been plenty of times where people came in for just like a day to either just look at a show or to be a guest and to speak on whatever they want, really. So yeah, it's been a pretty fun process up to now. So Huda.
I just want to say that I've the phone, the office phone for the station, we've had numerous voicemails left by adults, just expressing their appreciation for No Class, and just being able to hear, we don't call them African youth, but to hear African young leaders, leading their own show on the radio station. And I played it, played the voicemails for the cast, and it's the response to the show has been great. It's been really, really powerful.
It's amazing.
Wow. Could you repeat for our listeners and the viewers the time and day that the show airs?
All right. So of course we do 2 days a week. It's changed a lot, but at least the time for now is Tuesdays from 3 to 4 p.m. and then Wednesdays from 3 to 5 p.m. So y'all be hearing us tomorrow.
Excellent.
Wow, what's a great show, and thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to say about it, or?
Anything else in particular? Well, I guess one thing that I can say, we do ever so often do have guests on the show. Like I remember, this is actually just about a week or 2 ago. We interviewed a brother named Triple R Dane. He is a famous artist local here in St. Pete. He works with a brother named Mike Smith. In fact, I'm supposed to be interviewing his brother, who's also an artist, sometime like next week or the week after. So, that is something that we also do as well.
Oh, wow. That's so great. What a great show. And thank you so much for being on. And yeah. So thank you, Iquan, and I just want to say again, my name is Penny Hess, and I am the chair of the African People's Solidarity Committee. I'm on this show because we are calling on white people to contribute reparations to the Black Power Blueprint, a program led by the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement. and it's based in St. Louis right now, and really all around the country and all around the world. But the specific project that we're talking about right now is in St. Louis, Missouri, under the leadership of Chairman Omali Yeshitela and Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela. And people, I guess some people are online, are saying, why are white people talking about Black Power? Well, we're talking about it because, first of all, we work under the leadership of the African Revolution. We are an organization that was formed by the African People's Socialist Party that is the vanguard and the advanced detachment of the African Revolution here and around the world. And as part of their strategy, they organized way back, like more than 40 years ago, the white people to work under their strategy with the responsibility to go into the heart of white power and organize other white people away from unity with this vicious white power system and government, and in solidarity with African people, and to, with the job to, you know, turn loose those stolen resources that we have based on sitting on the backs of African people and the enslavement of African people for 600 years. So this is why we are taking the stand, and we're showing people what Black Power looks like. And this is what it looks like, Black Power 96.3. And we're showing that it is Black Power that is against all oppression in all forms. It is white power that oppresses the people on the planet Earth, and even white people to a certain extent, you know, in terms of women, LGBT, and other things that we've talked about. And the answer is not getting rights for ourselves at the expense of African people, but to end this system that is built on sucking the blood of African people, you know, for our benefit. So that's why we're on the show tonight, and we're raising $1,000. Now, we have a way to go. We are not even 20% of the way yet. So we need to come through and raise $1,000 tonight. We need to get up there. We want to be up to 48,000 tonight and beyond. We want to be at 48,600 tonight. So we can do this, and we've done it many times thanks to all of the friends and comrades and people from all over the world who have given to this, and white people who have given reparations to African people. So you can go to youcaring.com/Black Power Blueprint. I want to say that I'm going to put in $25 tonight.
Right.
So through after the show. So that would bring us to 205, I think, if we're still there at that place.
Yes.
All right, so 205. So we're a little bit over 20% of our goal. So we need to make this goal, and we're going to make it happen. We can do this. We can do this. So please go get your credit cards right now, and you know, get the one that you don't. It's not maxed out. Just get the one that has $100 on it. Go ahead and put $100 down today at youcaring.com/Black Power Blueprint.
Right, and that goes to very direct projects that you can witness being built and affecting the lives of the colonized African community in St. Louis. And you know, even this station, this studio where we are right now, is a project of the African People's Education and Defense Fund, a sister nonprofit of the Black Power Blueprint. So you're looking at what we're raising funds for right here. It's the opportunity, and this is not something that's going to my wardrobe or Chairwoman Penny's wardrobe. We recognize that reparations are in our interests as white people. It's in our interest to unite with the African Revolution and to humble ourselves before the African working class. And we work under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. We want to make that absolutely clear. I want to reiterate what Chair Penny had said about that. You are my direct leadership, Chairwoman Penny Hess, but you are under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party 100%. These are not conclusions that we could have come to without Chairman Omali Yeshitela, without people like Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela, and Comrade Diakiesse, who is station manager here at Black Power 96.3. And Comrade Dia, if you have the ability, could you tell us a bit about how the station does affect the lives of African people in this community?
Uhuru, you know, it's numerous ways. You know, we're the only station situated exactly in the middle of, you know, the African working class community. And, you know, Black Power 96.3 FM has made it its mission to bring community members in and train them, you know, in various things in radio. We can train you in production. We can train you in creating and engineering your own radio show. We can train you in producing, you know, spots and underwriting mentions and, you know, all of these other various things, you know, that us as the African working class, we don't have access to, you know. And so you can come and get these skills, you know, right here in Black Power 96.3 FM. And, you know, even to say more than that, because when an African comes through that door, we understand that we must impart in them, you know, the importance of Black Power 96.3 FM and exactly what that represents. You know, winning them to the position of, you know, understanding self-reliance and independence within the African community. And, you know, just like our slogan says, we're not just explaining the world, but changing it. And, you know, when the people come within the station and get involved in the work, they become changed themselves. So they come in, you know, one way and then they leave out another. And we know that, you know, we have imparted within them, you know, that as African people, we have to be self-reliant. And, you know, that is how Black Power 96 is affecting, you know, the Africans within this community and, you know, Africans all over the world. So, wow.
Uhuru, thank you. And I wanted to ask Akile, how did you decide to take this path? How did you decide to be part of the Uhuru movement, the African People's Socialist Party? What made you take that stand?
Well, it's an interesting story because it was kind of just always like destiny. Like it was just, the Uhuru movement was always around my life in one way or another. My dad actually grew up, you know, in this movement. And so naturally, just growing up, I was around the Uhuru movement. And, you know, I actually joined, you know, in the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement after I graduated, like the summer of 2015. I graduated that year, and I joined the organization. I said, bump college, this is what I'm doing. And then I joined the party that same year. And, you know, it just, I mean, because you could, there was no other way to go. I mean, I saw the conditions. I was leaving high school. Mike Brown had just been murdered. You know, I saw the people rising up all around the world, and I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to, because I was the outraged, angry African in the streets of St. Louis that wanted to do something about what is happening to African people all around the world. And the Uhuru movement was the only logical answer to that. I mean, it's been the only logical answer. It's been the consistent answer, you know, for, you know, the decades that it has existed, you know, that Black power, self-determination is the world that I want to live in, and that is the only solution. Everywhere around the world, you know, the people are waiting on African people to rise up and for us to liberate ourselves, and then we liberate the entire world, because the whole, you know, basis of oppression that exists everywhere rests on the backs of 600 years of, you know, since the assault on Africa. So if that's the basis, we have to overturn that, and the rest of the world is waiting on that to happen. That is the only logical conclusion you can come to. So it was a no-brainer.
Wow.
Wow,
amazing statement. Yeah.
I mean, you can sit there and you can try and think very, very hard about what you can do, but there's nothing. There's nothing else. The Vanguard Party is it. That's it.
So. And just the struggle for African people to be free and to change this world. What else is there to live, you know, to live for in this world today?
Nothing. There's absolutely nothing.
And I think you really hit a main point of the African People's Socialist Party when you mentioned, you know, we free African people, we free the world.
Yes.
You know, that's that's a large part of why we're here as white people. We want to be human beings again, because our track record on this planet has not been very human. It's been pretty inhuman.
That's right.
And you can read Chairwoman Penny Hess's book, Overturning the Culture of Violence, if you want to find out in blistering detail exactly how it was that we found our white rear ends here in this seat to begin with. So we have a lot of work to do. And that's why we're here. Our task is reparations, is funding this to the best of our ability, whether it's through sweat, whether it's through finances, whether it's through our time. We owe this, and we recognize that. And we really
yet
appreciate
it's not a punitive stand.
No,
it's
right.
not. It's what we owe. It's what we have to do, and and it's a positive thing for us because, as we say, reparations is more than money. Although white people invented money and forced everybody else in the world to have to live on it, But other than that, what difference does it make? But it's the stolen resources. It's everything about it, and it's not enough, just even to give some money. It's a stand. It's saying that we stand on the side of the liberation of African people, the leadership of the African working class, and we break our ties with this government. This government can't expect anything from us that it wants, that, we have broken that. So they don't have 100% of the white population anymore because the African People's Socialist Party has broken that by forming the African People's Solidarity Committee. And it's very historic. And it is a future that I want to be part of. I can't look at this world, oh my God, it's just, it would be overwhelming. No wonder so many people are dying from drugs and suicide and all of these things. Because just to live in this world, it's, this is the true barbarism. This is the true savagery. That the system everywhere, killing, murder, slander, just everything about it. It's got to go. And that's only going to, the world will be free when African people are free, when Africa is free, when this land goes back to the indigenous people, and when oppressed people on this planet have their land and resources, and this system is gone.
Yeah, and that question of resources is so important to get our heads around, because as Chair Penny was saying, it's money. White people created money, but it's also everything that African people have contributed to the world. African culture, Africa is the motherland of civilization itself. Science, math, philosophy.
Religion, it all came from Africa.
Humanity itself.
And philosophy, and as you're saying.
And so, and white people have gone off and made ourselves this separate entity that wants to live above and at the expense of African people and other colonized people, which means the rest of the world. But the positive vision of the African People's Socialist Party, I think, is so summed up by the comrades we have here tonight. And Comrade Diakiesse, who...
let me just say one more reminder, because we need more people. Do we have any new...
No, we do not.
We do not. We need people to go to youcaring.com/Black Power Blueprint. Go ahead and get your credit card and go ahead and put $100 in tonight. Put $150 in. We need to raise $1,000 tonight. We need to see that flagpole go up in St. Louis, a 50-foot flagpole with the red, black, and green that represents freedom for African people all over the world and for all oppressed people. That is a safe haven for anyone under oppression to go to. That's what that represents. And I want to see that go up. And, we need you to put in resources tonight. Go ahead to youcaring.com/Black Power Blueprint.
Yeah, these are the times when it's absolutely critical to have things like an Uhuru House that's up and functioning in St. Louis, Missouri, just adjacent to the birthplace of the reemergence of the African liberation movement, when African people came out and resisted police terror after Mike Brown was brutally gunned down. We're talking about an Uhuru House right there, and you can be part of it. So that website again is youcaring.com/Black Power Blueprint. And the blueprint is a significant part because this organization has a plan. This is not just lip service. This is a plan. This is not nostalgia. This is about the future and the present. And just to elaborate a little bit on how fascinating this movement is, Comrade Diakiesse, you yourself, you're a dancer. You're a musician, a singer. You're an incredibly talented comrade. You both are.
You both are, very much.
Could you tell us a bit about Getting Bodied and your history in dance and song?
Okay. Well, Get Embodied is a program that was created by the African People's Education and Defense Fund. And it's an exercise dance class, you know, where participants, you know, I teach them, you know, various routines that, you know, it's a form of cardio exercise. You know, we, you know, do different things, even work out, you know, lifting weights and stuff of that nature. But yeah, it was a program created by the African People's Education and Defense Fund, and you know, African people, we love to dance, and you know, you lose weight effortlessly, you know, through dancing, and you know, it was just another way to, you know, expand upon the African People's Education and Defense Fund, which is its mission is to fight the disparities within our community, and health being one of those, you know, disparities. And you know, that's really how Get Embodied came about. And I forgot the second part of the question.
Well, just your history and singing, how you acquired those skills. I mean, being African, obviously, yes.
Yeah. I was going with it.
I know. Your resume, I guess.
As far as I can remember, you know, as far as singing goes, you know, just been singing since being a little boy. The first time with realizing the ability within myself was just riding around in a van with my mom, and it was CeCe Peniston's Finally song came on, and I just was singing it in the back seat, and my mom, you know, she just turned around and she looked at me and she was like, "What?" And then I got quiet, and then after that just started belting, you know, in the car. And yeah, so there's that. I also, well, when I went away to college, I my major first was music, and with the concentration in voice, but you know, that classical stuff, I ain't really with that. So I changed it, but yeah, just been singing ever since. As far as dancing, you know, just walking, you know, and, you know, Africans, you know, we come from a culture where, you know, once, you know, the family sees that little spark of something within you, you know, they encourage it. So, you know, just being at family gatherings and, you know, music blasting, and you start moving that little shoulder, and everybody like, go ahead. And, yeah, so that, and before I actually came to St. Petersburg, I danced in a cabaret show for about maybe 6 years, the Leading Ladies Cabaret Show in Columbia, South Carolina. And yeah, so just, yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, I know Akile also very talented singer, actress, poet, writer, what?
Playwright, yeah.
Very deep.
Hold on, wait. She does this this announcer voice.
What?
Okay. She's very theatrical, you know. We're roommates or whatever, and you know, we could just be in the house and she just bust out in this different, you know, type of monologue, and we just start bouncing off each other like it's crazy, but yeah.
This is a new show in the making, perhaps?
It's homegrown. I'm working on my comedy.
All right.
We do have another payment of reparations from Kristen Forthen, $50.
All right!
Hooroo!
All right. So keep it coming.
Keep it up.
UPN.com/BlackPowerBlueprint. Let's get to $1,000 tonight.
So I think that puts us about 250, so we're about a quarter of our way there.
Yes, let's do it.
We need to come on. Let's do this.
Yes.
We can do this.
255 with 745 remaining. We
All right,
can do
come on,
this.
y'all.
We can do this.
745.
Let's go.
We can
Collective
do this.
work, collectivize it.
Right.
In the bucket.
In the bucket. in the bucket.
Yeah.
So, should we give our audience a refresher about what exactly this we're raising money for tonight. The Black Power Blueprint is in St. Louis.
Yes.
Buildings have been demolished already, which
and transformed. The Uhuru House from a place that had been abandoned for at least 12 or maybe even 20 years, and the roof was out, the brick was falling down, and just all kinds of resources were raised, and African contractors came and just did an amazing job. Many, many volunteers over this incredibly fast period of time. It seemed like it was about 2 days that this building was transformed. Deputy Chair Onizene Shatella, who's the coordinator of that, and just her brilliance of design, interior design, and it's also beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's state of the art in every way. And then there were 2 buildings across the street that had to be demolished to make way for an open air market. It's called One Africa, One Nation Marketplace. That the Uhuru movement already has in Philadelphia. It's been there for over 10 years, and it's very, very amazing. And then there's going to be a community garden, which actually there is a little garden there to begin with. So, you know, that's the beginning of it. And then there's also housing. We haven't even talked about that. There's going to be the Jico Kitchen on Goodfellow Avenue, I think it is, or Boulevard. In St. Louis. And that is a beautiful old building, kind of Art Deco or whatever you want to call it. And
very
it's
retro.
Yeah, it's retro. There you go. It's retro. It's very round. And it had once been a boathouse. And then it's going to be a bakery. It's going to be the Uhuru Foods and Pies national office. There's going to be a garden there and a cafe, and there's going to be what's called the African Independence Workforce Project, which is for African people coming out of the colonial clutches of what's called the prisons, the concentration camps in this country, and a place to learn skills and to be able to participate, you know, in the movement and in, you know, being able to have economic development in their own lives. So there's housing that's been purchased, and I think there's a what do you call it, a quadruplex or something like that, 4plex, I guess it is. Well, there's 4 different apartments in this building that's being fixed up right now. That's another project that's going on right now that these resources are going to. And so that's why we have to go to ucaring.com/Black Power Blueprint. We want this has got to be finished. This has not taken any resources from the city, from the wards, the aldermen, nothing. No resources. And they could have easily adopted to tear down those buildings or renovate this. They did not. They did nothing whatsoever. This came from the people. This came from reparations, this came from support, but also from contractors who knocked thousands of dollars sometimes off of what they charged, and even gave donations to this, and to volunteers. Many, many volunteers, hundreds of volunteers came on the work days, and these are still going on, by the way. They're still going on, and you know, you can be part of it. You can be part of it by emailing to join@blackpowerblueprint.org, and you can join. You can come out. Bring your solar panels. You know, this has got to be, you know, your rain barrels, all this kind of stuff. We want to make this off the grid. Why should liberated Africans have to pay, you know, utility bills? This has to be off the grid so that it can really be self-sufficient as this crisis of imperialism is growing.
Right, and we understand the environmental crisis that people get fixated on sometimes is a symptom of imperialism.
Yes, it is.
There was no environmental crisis in
when
Africa.
Had power, when indigenous people had power, there was no high, you know, carbon greenhouse gases and all that kind of stuff. The ice caps weren't melting when Africa was free.
Global warming.
Exactly. So we're calling on people to go ahead and donate tonight. Give reparations tonight. Go to ucaring.com/Black Power Blueprint.
Right, and as Penny had said earlier, if you want to donate anonymously as a one-time thing, we welcome that. You can do that. I think you'll be missing out if you don't continue to watch these webinars and become a part of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement and the African People's Solidarity Committee or the African People's Socialist Party. If you're African, this is a movement that has to continue winning. It is winning. It represents the vanguard of the African working class, and we have the honor, the privilege as white people to be a part of that. It is such a liberating thing, that it's so humanizing to just be in this studio, to know that it exists. And what we're talking about right now, what we're asking you to do, which has been done, and we thank you so much for how many times people have pitched in and contributed to this, to do that again. And if you're not able to, find someone else to step up and do it this time. Maybe it's their first time. Give it a shot. See if you can donate once and walk away from a movement this dynamic. See if you can do that. It's the Uhuru Challenge.
That's right. Well, Dia, I wanted to ask you, last night, Uhuru Solidarity Movement here in St. Pete had a really great event.
Yeah.
And it was called No Pride in Genocide. And you, as a gender and sexuality nonconforming African person, spoke there. Could you say a little bit about that and how that is inside of the Uhuru movement and the African People's Socialist Party?
Yeah, well, just to comment on the event, it was great, and
Jackson spoke as well.
Yeah,
very good.
Really enjoyed participating, and just to speak to just my involvement and how I came into the Uhuru movement. It was at a point in my life, where, as every African, around this planet was, just questioning, the existence of us as African people and not being able to sum that up. And, I found myself, going on YouTube and coming across these videos, what we call Ashy Hoteps, just speaking about things that I could partially unite to, but when it came to, their stances on, gender and sexuality nonconforming Africans, it was like, okay, well, my place is definitely not here. And, I was exposed to Secretary General Gazi Kodzo, who is also a gender and sexuality nonconforming African man. And, through his videos, to see him, profess, African internationalism and his love for African people, his love for the African People's Socialist Party, made me want to get involved with what is this African People's Socialist Party? Like, what is this? If he can do this, then certainly I can do this. And, even before being exposed to Chairman Omali Yeshitela, that was already telling of the stance of the African People's Socialist Party in regards to gender and sexuality nonconforming African people. And, when I was able to do my research and, listen to the statements that, Chairman Omali Yeshitela had given, on the party stance about accepting, black homosexuals and lesbians. And, it was just so welcoming, and just to understand that the African People's Socialist Party welcomes all sectors of the African nation. And, individually, we understand that the GSNA community, we do face a special type of oppression, but, the solution to that special type of oppression is to join in the fight to overturn oppression in general. And that it's not about, joining with the LGBT community who has gained all of its rights at our expense. It's about coming under the organization, of the African People's Socialist Party, because as, Director Akile has laid out, and as it has been stated, the African People's Socialist Party is the only thing that is currently on the ground working to overturn colonialism. And us, being a part of the GSNA community, our liberation is steeped in that, and that is what we have to unite with. And, just the parties, the leadership across the party is just so telling of that. African women, GSNA people, trans African women, trans African men, it's just nothing that the party doesn't speak to. And so I see, as a GSNA person, I see my position in the party, in the Uhuru movement, as a leader. And, that's what we want to bring all GSNA people into, into that understanding, to lead.
And we have a show.
Yes.
That we didn't say anything about that speaks exactly to the question of gender and sexuality nonconforming Africans.
Yes. I do lead a show on Black Power 96.3 FM, and it's entitled My People's Keeper. And it focus is specifically to speak you know, to the special oppression that, you know, the GSNA community faces, and not only, you know, the issues, but the solutions as well, because the main contradiction that we see is this isolation between the GSNA community and the rest of the African nation, you know, that is exasperated by all of these colonial ideals and, you know, religious beliefs and things of that nature that was imposed upon us by colonialism. And what we have to understand and internalize as the GSNA community and trans-African people is the fact that the contradictions that we face between us and, you know, our heterosexual brothers and sisters, those contradictions are artificial and they can be overturned. And, you know, it's what the party calls, you know, a non-antagonistic contradiction, you know, that can be worked against through political education and persuasion. And, you know, that's what our focus has to be. And, you know, nothing is going to stop me from getting in the streets and marching for, you know, that African brother who might have a backward idea about, you know, the GSNA community, because I understand that he needs freedom and he deserves that. And, you know, as a GSNA person, I have to understand that, and that understanding must be imparted, you know, in all Africans. So.
Uhuru. Wow. Really powerful. Thank you.
So we have 20 minutes left, and we need to make $1,000 in reparations tonight. And I really want to call on my fellow white people, my fellow white LGBT people. We need to make this happen. You know, as Diakiesse Station Manager Black Power 96 was summing up, our rights as white LGBT people come at the expense of African people. And in fact, here in St. Petersburg, Florida, the Pride Festival was held in an area that used to be the black community, but it was destroyed. And I talked to white people there who said they felt guilty going there because they knew that it used to be the black community. But, you know, we can change that reality. We can make things different. We can take responsibility for our culture of absolute violence built on genocide and enslavement of African people. And we can pay reparations to this project, to the Black Power Blueprint that is fighting gentrification, that is fighting against so-called food deserts or starvation, that is putting forward the voice of the black working class. And, you know, we have to raise $1,000 in reparations tonight. So I really want to call on everyone to help make this happen, to take responsibility for our whiteness and the rights that we have got on the backs of African people, and to raise $1,000 in reparations tonight. Please share this video. You know, send it to your loved ones, your family, your coworkers, your friends, and let's make this happen. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Uhuru.
Thank you, Jackson.
All right. All right. So, well, we have a few minutes left, but I do want to ask Akile Anai. I know this weekend is the Cured Conference.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that and how it relates to the election that you were part of last year?
Well, CURED, Communities United for Reparations and Economic Development, is a new organization that is founded and led by the Uhuru movement. And it was actually birthed as a result of the party's electoral campaigns that I participated in last year, as well as Comrade Jesse Neville, who's the chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And I ran for District 6 City Council, and Jesse ran for mayor on a platform of unity through reparations. And the platform, you know, centered reparations as a solution to all of our problems. And we can see that even in the Black Power Blueprint. Reparations, economic development is a solution to, you know, the conditions that African people face today. And that's what the Black Power Blueprint is solving. That's what Black Power 96 is solving. And that's what you are solving when you, you know, pay reparations tonight to Black Power Blueprint. And so this was the basis of the electoral campaign. And we understood that even if we don't win the bourgeois election, and even if we did, win or lose, that you have to have a people's movement that fights for the platform that it is that you're trying to achieve. Because, you know, the bourgeoisie is not going to give it to you. And, you know, even if you secure a seat in office, they're not going to give it to you. They're going to have everybody there to work against you unless you have the people to fight back. So it was always understood that the people were necessary. So we built Cured, the organization that would bring power to the people and make people part of this process of transforming public policy and making reparations the center of the agenda. So Cured is the, you know, organization right here in the city of St. Pete that's going to build a social movement that is going to, you know, like I said, transform public policy. It is going to be the fight back against the big money crooked politicians who are selling the city out to the gentrifiers, to the big money developers who, you know, are, you know, displacing the Black community, purposefully, intentionally making Africans homeless in the city. We'll get to that at the Cured conference. You know, all of these things, we have to be the pushback. The people have to be the pushback, and Cured is the vehicle to make that happen. So there is a conference this weekend. It's the founding conference of Cured. It's taking place June 29th and 30th. So if you're in the city of St. Pete, and you can be at this conference, it's at Mount Zion Primitive Baptist Church, which is located at 3700 22nd Avenue South. Friday begins at 5 p.m. and Saturday at 10 a.m. And it's just going to be an amazing conference. It's going to be laying out how people can get involved in this process, how City of St. Pete can get cured, and, you know, that no one in this city ever again, politician, can work and operate at the expense of the people and at the expense of the Black community. It means that, you know, no longer does the city get to operate, have a city budget that goes, majority of it goes to the police while the Black community is starving. We're saying, you know, no more gentrification, no more high rises, no more of, you know, of these things that is, you know, a constant attack on the Black community every single day, and that there are white people in this city, you know, by the thousands that unite with reparations to the Black community, that, you know, want to see an end to the oppression of the Black community, and you have to be here at this Cured conference to make that happen. And Chairman Amalia Shatella is going to be there. He's going to be one of the main presenters. There's going to be this amazing panel on the history of St. Pete. We have a local African historian by the name of Minson Rubin who's going to be here. Actually, Chairwoman Penny Hess is going to be on a panel with the chairman, as well as a man named Fred Winters, who participated in the sanitation workers strike right here in the city of St. Pete. Obviously, presentations from myself, Jesse Neville as the vice chair of Cured, and it's just going to be an amazing conference.
What is the title?
Oh,
Such a
the
great
title.
title.
Oh, yeah, the title.
Such a great title.
It is the, you know, it's the essence of everything it is that we do. It's an anti-gentrification title. It's called This Time Till It's Won, Make the South Side Black Again. And, you know, because the South Side used to be a Black community before this city government came and destroyed it, planted that dome, built that interstate, and it's about to raise this historic community called Jordan Park, which was given to the city by an African by the name of Elder Jordan. So we have to make the South Side Black again. It's a call to end gentrification. It's a call for reparations and economic development. And everybody on the forward side of history who wants to call themselves progressive has to take that stance.
Uhuru. It's going to be very exciting. So where can they find out more?
They can find out more on Communities United for Reparations Economic Development Facebook page. All of the event information and details are there. In terms of speakers, you can see, you know, who announcement of the speakers. Also, we have this big unveil that we have. I want to talk about Take Back the Dome. Take Back the Dome initiative that we're going to be launching at this conference. It's going to be talking about a real campaign that we can wage in the streets to actually take back that 85 acres of land that was built in the gas plant district. So, you know, we're not lip service here. We're taking back that dome and we're giving it back to the Black community. So, you know, this is what we're doing.
That's going to be history making. Really powerful because it's going to win. It's going to win. It's already out there.
So we have $25 in reparations from Allison Haney.
All right.
Allison. And Allison says, solidarity with Black Power 96.3 and Black Power Blueprint. Thank you for this moving and powerful program tonight. Reparations from the white population is our greatest blow against this foul colonial system. Black Power is our future.
Uhuru.
And we also have a Mara Ratiu, who is a social media coordinator, is doing $25 in reparations tonight, and so we have raised $305 and $695 to go.
All right. Well, we're a third of the way there, and we're saying you better get busy. Go right now to youcaring.com/BlackPowerBlueprint, and we need to raise $600 more tonight. And
nearly 700.
Nearly 700 more dollars tonight, and you can continue to go to youcaring.com/BlackPowerBlueprint all through the night, tomorrow, anytime you can do that. But we would definitely want you to, keep sharing this, putting it out, tell your friends. We have many, many fronts of this, including our birthday fundraiser. If your birthday is coming up, please register, and I know there's a way you can do that with USM at the Uhuru Solidarity Movement page to have to go on and do a fundraising birthday event on Facebook, which has been so successful. Really, really powerful, and the ability for all kinds of new people who usually wouldn't be even knowing about this to contribute to the Black Power Blueprint. So that's a powerful way. And I wanted to say we'd have a few minutes more, and I do want both of you to have a last word, each one. But I just want to say a few things here of what's coming up. So Thursday night, again, Akile Anai will be in another web event for the 3 drowned black girls, 3 African teenage girls who were brutally murdered by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, who drowned them as they were in their car in 2016. And it's going to be a web event, 7 p.m. on the Facebook.com/3DBG campaign. So please be there on Thursday night. Also on October 6th to 12th in St. Louis, Missouri will be the incredible 7th Congress of the African People's Socialist Party. African people from all around the world will flock to St. Louis to plan out the strategy for the next 5 years of struggle towards the total liberation of Africa and African people everywhere. You can't miss that.
Yeah, you can get to see the new Uhuru House in person. You can register at apspcongress.org. And again, that's Saturday, June 30th. Here in St. Pete, the Cured Conference is...
That we're just talking about. That will be this time... So say it again.
This time till it's one, make the South Side black again.
And while we're on announcements, I didn't want to miss something coming up, a family reunion. The Black Family Reunion is coming up on a colonial holiday, making July 4th stand for real independence.
We call it Diakiesse's birthday.
What? What? Born on the 4th of July.
Well, we changed the day from the colonial holiday to Diakiesse's birthday. You didn't hear?
Oh, good.
Oh, wow. Born to make independence a reality.
Exactly.
Yes.
African independence in his lifetime. Exactly.
African Independence Day.
Yes.
The revolutionary was born.
Yes. Oh, as a part, July is the month of our second member fund drive. It's our summer member fund drive, and on the 4th of July, we will be having our second annual African Nation Family Reunion Block Party, which will be taking place right here outside on the Black Power 96 soundstage. DJ Heavy Love will be DJing.
All right.
We have a host of, local performers, local artists, rappers, singers from the community. One who will be possibly bringing a whole band.
Wow.
We're going to have vendors. We're going to have, activities for the kids, jump rope, water cannons, water guns, all of those types of things. And we're also going to have a spades tournament. So if you like to play spades, come on out and show us what you got.
Get
and
your skills up.
Also taking place in the month of July for our member fund drive will be the second annual Media Leadership Awards brunch, which is taking place on the 28th, and that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and that's going to be catered to by Heavy's food truck.
Wow.
And we're going to be honoring other local Black media entities within the community as well. Journalism, television, broadcast, any of those facets, we'll be honoring those individuals as well too. So.
And are you planning a July fundraiser
for
the radio station?
Yeah, July, the entire month of July will be our member fund drive. And we have a goal of raising $10,000, and it's to go to the expenses of the station, and just to keep the station on the air, because we don't receive any government assistance or anything else of that nature. Everything that you see right now that makes up this set has been purchased through, the donations, the supports, reparations that have been paid to the station to make the station a reality. And, that's just so powerful. We can't, just explain how powerful that is. So, we'll be making that happen again next month as well, too. So. Yeah.
All right. So that is so great, and this has been an amazing event tonight, and just to be able to talk about this, it's been fantastic. And Akile, do you have any last words that you want to give us tonight?
I do. One of them is actually an announcement, and because there's another event happening in St. Louis. It's actually happening August 11th and 12th, and I really wanted to let everybody know about the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations, their annual conference. And it's going to be an extremely important conference. I mean, you see everything that's happening in the world today. The Black is Back Coalition, has just been, on this answering all of these different questions about what it is we're seeing, especially when it deals with, just the electoral arena and, everything that has to do with the White House. So this conference is themed, There is no peace, Africa and Africans are at war. U.S. to the world, comply or die. And it is going to be just an extremely important conference in St. Louis, Missouri at the Uhuru House. So you can go to blackisbackcoalition.org for more information and to register. Registration is free. So I just wanted to put that out there because that is like the next thing after July. You can start getting prepared to go now. And that has just been an extreme honor to be a part of this web event. This was first it was fun, and appreciate, DJ Heavy Love, Iquan, and all of our station supporters, all of the programmers who make Black Power 96 what it is today. I appreciate the African People Solidarity Committee and the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, Chairwoman Penny Hess. Jamie, good to see you. Jackson for this, wonderful, just stage set. Yes, thank you. Appreciate Kyle back there with the tech. And again, salute my leadership, Chairman Amalia Shatella, because without that vision, we wouldn't even be able to sit here today. And Deputy Chairwoman Onazanea Shatella, who gets it all done, makes it all happen, and through that leadership and vision and that creativity, style, everything,
the
just
African
salute.
style.
The African style, the swag. So just appreciate all of you, and remember to go to youcaring.com/blackpowerblueprint. Let's do something today. Join the right side of humanity. Go ahead, don't pay reparations today, and if you're African, donate to this project. This is your future, and it's in your hands, and we have a stake in what happens to it. So,
and any quick last words?
I just really want to appreciate being a part of this process. Appreciate you, Chairwoman Penny Hess, Jamie, Jackson, Kyle, my beautiful programmers, Iquan, DJ Heavy Love, and everybody who has supported Black Power 96.3 FM, and just our leadership, Chairman Amalia Shatella and Deputy Chair Onazanea Shatella, for providing Africans with an opportunity to participate in our own liberation. And I just really want to say real quickly that to the white people watching, you need to donate. You need to pay reparations. It's your responsibility. 600 years ago, white people were fleeing a social system, feudalism that was completely crumbling. You were escaping, disease, and all you had access to were your weapons, which you brought to Africa, and you stole African people, turned us into commodities, and as commodities, we created profit. And you're talking about a whole global system that was created from that you pulled the rest of the world in. And just to let you know, that world system is coming down, and we're taking it down each and every single day. And to be liberated from that, reparations is your future. And just like Jamie said earlier, you have an interest in that. And it's inevitable that imperialism is going to be overturned. So right now, while you have the choice, while you have the chance, you need to get on the right side of the question, and that's paying reparations.
Yes. Wow, it's so powerful. That is so powerful. This has been an amazing web event tonight.
It really
and
has.
just before we go off the air, I want to thank our team because it takes a lot to produce these every week. And I just want to say that, you know, our committee is under the direct leadership and accountable to the Office of Deputy Chair Ona Zanea Shatella, who is the coordinator of the Black Power Blueprint, and of course ultimately accountable to Chairman Amalia Shatella, as we're part of the Solidarity Committee. But I want to thank Comrade Jamie, our MC, and Kyle, who is the amazing videographer and does all these kind of things for live streaming. We have Mara and Virginia, our mighty, mighty social media team, who's incredible. Comrade Jackson, who's our stage manager and appealer. And we have Renee, who's here in the other room, who's the assistant producer, and so much more. And we have Amanda. We really want to salute Amanda, who is our calculator and financial whiz. And then we have Lisa, who puts out our amazing weekly newsletters on the Black Power Blueprint. We want to salute Comrade Chicharwa of the African People's Socialist Party in St. Louis, and Kitty Riley, who played an amazing role in the day-to-day work of the Black Power Blueprint under Deputy Chair's tutelage and leadership. We want to salute Comrade Jesse Neville, who's part of our team. He's the chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And out in Oakland, California, the whole Uhuru Foods and Pies team, and Uhuru Foods and Pies is a key part of the Black Power Blueprint. And they just did Pride, 2 booths at Pride this past weekend in San Francisco, where Ghazi Kozo, the Secretary General of the African People's Socialist Party, spoke to thousands of people. So we want to salute Comrade Maureen Bakari, Sayali, and Janice of Uhuru Foods and Pies. Also Ruby, who coordinates Giving Tuesday, and Alia Yellow and Raya Fogarty of the birthday fundraiser. So that's part of our team, and they're an amazing team. And I want to salute all of you and say that we will be back next week with the web event called, this is on July 3rd, Because of You. Because of You, and it's going to have Deputy Chair Ona Zanea Shatella and Chairman Amalia Shatella, and many, many more. We want everybody who's ever supported this and wants to make a testimony to come. If you're in St. Pete, come to the Uhuru House. If you're in St. Louis, come to the Uhuru House. Or if you're in Oakland, come to the Uhuru House. We'll be in all those locales. So come and testify.
Soon we say come to the Uhuru House everywhere.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, so we just, really want to thank Diakiesse Lungisani and Akile Anai, Iquan, and DJ Heavy Love, and this has been incredible. Thank you again, and unity through
reparations. Uhuru, thank you to everyone.